Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics videos. Sam and I are here recording on Tuesday, December 24th, and we're talking about everyone's favorite topics, threes. Celtics 3-point shots, which has been the main focus point of the season for everyone around the NBA landscape, not just the Celtics, but Celtics are having this season in particular, the Celtics are having a historic season from three, i.e., taking more threes than anybody else has ever taken in NBA history. And they started off real hot, and they have since been a little bit cold. This tweet is from Brian Barrett where is he from?
The Ringer.
What is the Ringer? Thank you. Sorry, I knew that. And he pointed out some trends in the Celtics 3-point shooting. So, first 13 games, 43% from on corner threes, which was fifth in the NBA. The last 16 games, they're shooting 34.8% from the corner, which is 26th in the NBA. Wide open threes, which is the defender 4 to 6 feet away. First 13 games, they were 38.8% on 21.6 attempts. The efficiency was fifth, attempts was first. Last 16 games, they're shooting 33.4%, which is 15th in the NBA on 20.6 attempts, which is first. Pointing out they're generating good shots. The shots just aren't falling as often. We saw this in the Magic game a little bit, except the volume was really down. We've seen it in the last couple of Bulls games where they're generating a lot of good looks, but they're not falling. So it's a 3-point trend going on around the league, or the Celtics, I should say.
Yes, and for what it's worth, last year the Celtics shot 36% from three, at least according to NBA.com's shot dashboard. Oh, no, this is this season. Why would it ever keep the year that I asked it to keep? Last year was 38.8. So over the last several games, they're not doing the greatest job knocking down the threes, but they are right. Wait a minute. Okay, he's got this set up a little bit weird. So they're significantly worse on the wide open threes than they were last year. Through the first 13 games this year, they were 38.8 on the closest defender, 4 to 6 feet away. So they were right where they were at last year. But it's been pretty evident that they've taken a step back in terms of their 3-point efficiency. Feels like guys like Derek White, Drew Holiday, even Kristaps haven't been very reliable over the last stretch of games from out there. And Derek's had his moments, like he was solid. Last night he made a big one. Drew Holiday was solid yesterday, but they've just been inconsistent. Derek White hasn't been making them at the high rate he was making them at the beginning of the season, where every time he touched the ball in the fourth quarter, you knew the shot was going in, no matter how ridiculous it was. And for the Celtics to be at their absolute peak, they're going to need everybody firing on all cylinders. And it's not impossible. We've seen them go on runs, stretches through the season where they can't miss. And that's kind of the way 3-point shooting goes. I think it's the reason why a lot of people are skeptical of it as a major building block for your offense, like the whole foundation of your offense be built on this, because if you do get cold like they've been, it makes it a little bit more difficult to win games. Not to say the Celtics have been losing games, but they've lost 2 out of their last 3 now. Granted, Orlando, they didn't have Tatum. Tatum's a big piece of creating the best possible looks, and the Celtics went
He's pretty important, I'd argue.
on the second half in Orlando was so bad in terms of creation. It was just ISO ball, a lot of watch this going on. And then when they made a push at the end of the game, it came from, oh, we're going to have Allen the short roll and pass it to him, and he's going to make a great read and throw it to Derek White. Or Drew Holiday sets a down screen, then pops out and gets an open three. Like, they started to play team ball again. They were running things. They were doing a great job of generating those shots. And without Tatum, you have to do that consistently. You're going to end up what you had for the first, 22 minutes of the second half. It just wasn't pretty. So I don't think you shy away from the threes, but you have to be at like a 2 out of 10 alert. Be like, this is a trend. That's it. That's as far as I take it.
I think the trend is a 3-point slump. Like, they slumped last year.
That's what I mean.
Like, there's stretches where they just aren't going to shoot as well from three. It is what it is. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think people are going to be around the NBA landscape going, see, it's not sustainable, when it's been however many games that they've been slumping. and it evens out in the math category. Every time I open a new tab on my laptop, it lags for me. So I'm trying to do this math on my phone,
What are you
and
trying to look at?
it's not pleasing. Can you just tell me what the mark? Because Brian Barrett splits it at the first 13 games versus the last 13 games. And I want to look at something. Can you tell me the date of their 13th game of the season? That's all I need to know to make this work.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay.
I will look it up. What I was going to say while you were talking, I looked up to see what the Celtics shot in the playoffs last year, just for reference. Celtics shot 36% from three in the playoffs. So if you're concerned about them dipping below that 38% mark, they're not going to be as good as last year, blah, blah, blah. They weren't as good as they were in the regular season in the playoffs last year, and they still won a championship, and they did so by only losing 3 games. So let's see, 4, 8, 12, 13. The 13th of November, game number
November 13th.
Yes.
Yep, I got it. Okay, so through the first 13 games of the season, the Celtics were generating a lot of wide open threes in those 13 games. Wide open is 6+ feet away was the closest defender, right?
Right.
It's pretty good. Pritchard got 55 of them. Derek White got 53 of them. Al Horford got 37 of them. Drew Holiday 33. Sam Hauser 26. Jaylen Brown 25. Jason Tatum 23. So basically, the top guys in the rotation all got 20 plus open threes, and they all shot 40% or better pretty much. Drew Holiday shot 39.4, but outside of that, Pritchard 44, Derek White 43, Horford 37, Hauser 46, Brown 48, Tatum 48. Those are just field goals, and on the threes, 42%, 44%, 46%, 36% for Drew, 46. Jaylen shot 28% on wide open threes, which is not great. Great, and Tatum shot 56%. And they got 50, 50, 30, 30, 25, basically, right? And since then, I'm going to take a look at how they fared in terms of generation versus shooting, because my theory, and I'm going to look to this to prove this, is it's just a slump. I think the offense maybe hasn't been quite as good, and maybe some teams are just keying on more to guarding them, and that is what it is, and they'll have to find new ways and get around it, which they did last year. But since then, Peyton Pritchard has gotten almost 70 wide open threes, which is more in which is they've played 3 more games at 16, 13 versus 16, but he's gotten 14 more, which is about on pace. 67 for Pritchard. Derek White's got 69. Drew's got 45. Al's got 48. Brown's got 32. Kristaps 37. Tatum 23 wide open threes. Pretty much like same exact numbers inflated in on account of they've played 3 extra games in the time span, but Pritchard shooting 43. Derek White is down from above 40 to around 37.7. Drew Holiday's around the same at 35.6. Al Horford's down from like 44 to 35. Jaylen Brown's up from 28 to 44. So he's been better. Kristaps is shooting 29.7% on threes where the defender is 6+ feet away from him. And Tatum is still at 48. So they're just missing more, right? Like they're generating awesome looks. Since that point in time, which was November 14th or whatever it was, right? If I look at the teams who have generated the most wide open threes, I'm going to take a look here and see just how good they've been, because this is this is how the Celtics win basketball games. And for what it's worth, they have lost in 2 of the last 3 games. It's not like they were like killed, right? Like they were in both of those games despite not being able to make any of their shots. They were right there. They were in the game, capable of winning it. It fell short, and obviously not making 8 threes probably would have helped against the Magic.
That are not losing to a team without 2 of their top players, their 2 best players. Maybe beat them and show up to play when they don't have Paulo and friends. Like, yes, I really do think Tatum being out plays a massive role, because they just have to play so differently. But at the same time, like, come on, dog. Like, they were in control of this game. We saw that they could muck things up and make things difficult on Orlando. And you have to credit the Magic because they played their asses off. Like, they played a fantastic defensive game. They had the effort all the way up. They strategically ran the Celtics off the 3-point line. Like, it wasn't by design that the Celtics took less threes yesterday. It was just like, well, they're just not going to allow it. And some days that's just the way the cookie's going to crumble for the Celtics, I think.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And you credit the Magic. They played great defense regardless of who was on the floor. They bothered the Celtics. And I mean, as much as it's easy to say, like, the Celtics should have won the game regardless. And I agree, they should have won the game regardless. Like, taking 33 threes and making 8 of them, you're not going to win many of those games. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing the Wizards, right? It's going to be hard to to win a game when you make 8 threes in the NBA, regardless of if you're the Celtics or any other team in the league. Like, if you make fewer than 10 threes in a game, I'd say it's an 80% chance you lose the game. Like, that's just how it is. And for what it's worth, since that date that I mentioned, the Celtics are creating the 4th most wide open threes per game in the NBA since that date where they've gone cold. So it's not like the looks aren't there. They're just shooting 38% on them, which ranks towards the bottom third, like 18th, 19th. Not very good.
There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams or 10 games where a team that has made less than 8 threes has won out of a whole lot of games this year. Like, I'm looking at it, it's like
Yeah.
L L L L L L L W L W W L L L L L L W W. So Jack is absolutely right. It's just not easy to win games when the threes aren't going in. With that being said, they didn't really give themselves as much of a chance to make the threes, but it's just, I mean, listen, they took 33 threes. Orlando took 33 threes. The Celtics just made 25% of those threes. Like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Exactly. How many threes did the Magic make?
13. So they outscored them by 15 in the
That's the
three-point
game.
category. And we saw the graphic. I think we talked about it on a pod last week.
There's the game
where
right there.
Celtics outscore opponents by an average of 10 on the margins because of this. So when they don't have that, it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there have been a lot of games where teams have made fewer than 10 threes this year. Not many wins.
Not many.
So a lot of losses. A lot of losses.
Houston,
of the
I will say, not bad at it, though. They've got like 3 of these wins.
I'd be curious to see how many of those wins are also they kept their opponent to not making a ton of threes. I bet that's part of it because they're a really good defensive team. And I don't know how we'd look that up. I don't know how that would be a thing. But
well, it'll show that both sides. So I have advanced box scores on NBA.com, and I just clicked 3-pointers made until it put the least at the top. So I don't see the opponents from these games on this list.
Yeah.
So you have to credit them a little bit. It's imperfect, but Houston's done it 3 times. I don't see a ton of games that, like, I don't know. I can't see Houston's record here. Whatever. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah. The point is, it's hard to win games when you don't make a lot of threes in today's NBA, especially when you are one of the better 3-point shooting teams facing one of the best defenses at preventing threes in the NBA. So it is what it is. But the Celtics are the best 3-point shooting team in a long time. But even the best 3-point shooting teams slump, right? They slump. And they're in a slump right now. They're still generating awesome looks. And I bet if you ask Joe Mazzulla, he said, I love the process. I love what we're getting. We're just not making them. And they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop doing it. They're generating a ton of open threes per game. And reverting back to anything else would be foolish, considering we literally saw them win with this strategy last year. So let us know what you think down below. I think it's a slump. I think they'll get back to making the threes, or at least bumping it up in the coming games, and we'll see from there. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of the threes. Hit the bell. Jack and I are here every single day. New content for you in the morning. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. Other videos like this one are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. If you want the pods and recaps, but audio only, they're there. So follow us there. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. It helps us in the algorithm. You can also send us an email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You know you got something to say about all the 3-pointers. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read your emails every single pod recording, so get them in. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's One NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.